This is Irish Illustrated's 1, 2, 3, one question, two analysts, 3 minutes. Our question for today is, in what statistical category do you guarantee that Notre Dame will improve upon from last year?
I'm going to the front line and a fifth-year senior quarterback because according to Pro Football Focus, of Notre Dame's 16 sacks allowed last year, which is a low number, 13 were on the quarterbacks. They said that Ian Book invited pressure for 11 sacks. Phil Dracovic did the same for 2 sacks. And only 2 sacks were credited to Notre Dame's entire offensive line in 2019, and they were both on Aaron Banks. So that's an amazing statistic. They gave one to Chris Fink if you're missing the 16th there for all math majors following along. But I would think that Ian Book would be much better at not inviting pressure. And clearly the offensive line does a good job of protecting him.
You would think. I mean, he certainly showed progress in the second half of the season in terms of recognizing when to escape, when not to, where to escape to,
right,
and when not to. Notre Dame was 65th last year in third down conversions at 40%.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm pinning a lot on an offensive line with its 114 career starts, and I know, Tim, you've written extensively about those short yardage situations and the stuffs that they've had to deal with. But I just think Notre Dame's going to be better than that, even without Tony Jones, their best running back last year. I think a number 65 rating and a 40% mark is something that offensive line and that running game, especially with Tommy Rees saying that he wants to emphasize a little bit more. I think they'll be better than that.
Yeah, certainly down and distance affects that, and Ian Book can affect that in many ways by just being a better pre-snap quarterback on every down. Back to the sacks allowed, you mentioned Tommy Rees. The Kelly era low, and it is low, was 8 in 2013. Tommy Rees was the quarterback that was setting up the offensive line to only allow him to get sacked 8 times, and he didn't have much of a running game either. So I am putting Ian Book fully in the Tommy Rees pre-snap role with a veteran offensive line that can, remember, a veteran offensive line that can afford an injury. There aren't many you can say that going into a season. They can just afford an injury to a starter because they have such a good sixth man.
You know, I think Notre Dame's rushing offense is going to be better, again, because of the emphasis on the ground game. I think those young running backs, somebody's going to start to get it and emerge. I think Chris Tyree is going to give them, you know, a little bit more burst, and a guy that can get outside, maybe pop outside, maybe hit the one of the interior gaps and then pop out when it's not available. But I think 179 yards rushing per game. And a lot of this, to me, ties in with, I know Ian Book's back and he's a veteran, but he has a younger receiving core. And so I think there's going to be just a greater emphasis on that running game and improvement from 179 yards per game.
So this is an all offensive line look, basically, at your what will improve at Notre Dame, because we are banking on it. And, you know, it makes sense too. It's a group that it has to be one of the best in the country because that's what they've set themselves up to be.
This has been Irish Illustrated's 1, 2, 3. Thank you for joining us.